evening, everybody, all you friends. Good evening, all you friends of the SEL. I just got unmuted, so now it's a good evening to all of you joining us for the playoff draw show. This is our first time doing anything like this, so I remember at the beginning of the season, the groups draw show went super well. I'm hoping this goes the same. We're trying something new because tonight, it's not just me on the screen all night picking matchups. It's going to be a representative from our top 8 SEL teams joining me on stream to answer some of your questions and, most importantly, draw their playoff round 1 matchup. For those that don't know, we divided our top 2 finishers in the 4 groups in the group stage and into 2 different round robin groups, the top 4 seeds and then the next 4 seeds. They played out, and that determined a draft order for tonight. The Elite 8 Group 1 team, so that is our top 4 group winners: Bruton Parker, King, Florida State, and Buds at GSU. They'll be drafting from the last chance qualifier. And then our Elite 8 Group 2, which is UTK, Cumberland, Kentucky, and Florida Atlantic, will be drawing from the last chance qualifier as well to pick their matchup. So there you go. That's the order of drafting tonight that you're looking at right now. And if we can put the last chance qualifier bracket up as well, the trick is those first seeds can only draw from the lower side of the LCQ. So ECU, UAH Blue, UNCC, and Montevallo. And then the group number 2 can only pull from the top side, which is Arkansas, USC, Bama, and USC Garnet. So it's going to be a fun night. There are going to be some, I'm sure, strategic choices, both just trying to get the team that you think you can beat as your round 1 matchup, but also the team that you kind of got to knock out for a land spot for those trying to get into the top 8, which the top 8 right now are kind of up in the air. I know our top 5 place teams at the moment kind of have a spot set, like Cumberland, FAU, UTK, King, and FSU. They're in good spots right now when it comes to securing a land spot with their placement from the fall split. But UAH Blue, ECU, South Carolina, Kentucky, the likes of those teams are kind of in a precarious position. They have to do well in the playoffs to secure their spot on land. So we got one of those teams that's kind of fighting very hard for a land spot as they came in not having competed in the fall semester. And that's Bruton Parker. They've got 8 points already secured because they made playoffs here, but they'll be drawing first, having gone 3-0 in the Elite 8 Group 1, and they got to make a run, essentially top 4, to make it to land. There's a lot that's up in the air still, but we have Sino with us tonight representing Bruton Parker. So we can get Sino up on screen. Sino, can you hear me right now? How you feeling? Glad to hear it. Glad you're joining me. I mean, Bruton Parker's had a heck of a season so far. 10-0 on 10-0 so far. I think the stream can hear you, Sino. Everyone could confirm that you can hear him. Okay, very cool. Sino, I don't know exactly. We're getting this ironed out right now, but we put
good.
Fry's up on screen first, so we're getting Sino's cam in. So Fry's got a little sneak peek, or the stream got a little sneak peek of Fry's. So very nice of him to make an appearance first. I know FSU believes for sure they are the number 1 team in the SEL, but now we got Sino on screen. Sino, now that you're actually here, I mean, you feeling good still?
Yeah, I am. I'm feeling pretty good.
All right. I love it. Well, 10-0 so far. Bruton Parker is having a very good season. So we're going to get the big part of your appearance on stream out of the way first. We got to see who you're selecting as the number 1 overall pick in the SEL playoffs draft. So lay it on us. Who's Bruton Parker picking as their opponent?
So I think we're going to go with a more unexpected pick. We're actually going to take the University of Alabama, Huntsville.
Okay. UAH Blue has been chosen by Bruton Parker. And this makes sense, Sino. I'll reveal a little bit of your
Mhm.
thinking, but I want to hear your thoughts on it as well. Because UAH Blue is one of those teams that Bruton Parker is trying to track down in the hunt for a land spot. As UAH Blue finished top 8 in the fall. So, Sino, was that your thinking to try and take down a team early on that you need to catch up to in terms of points?
So you said it, we're kind of lacking in the point since we were unaware of the SEL in the fall. So that's why we came in the spring because one of my friends recommended it to me, and that's when I got in contact with y'all. But because we have to make up some lost ground, we do need to try and see what we can do to take out any teams that like are possible to knock us out
All right,
just based
there
off
you
of
go.
points.
UAH Blue, I mean, they're definitely the team to do it. They got 22 points right now. So sending them down to lowers. I know. I mean, B More is ready for anything. That team is probably ready for a lower bracket run if they do fall to you guys. So do you feel confident that you can get through them fairly easily?
I we wouldn't have picked them if we didn't feel confident. However, I
Hmm.
do know that they are a very good team. Heck, I was producing a bunch of the games on
Yeah.
stream, and I have watched them play. So I do know they're going to be a solid team, and they're definitely not going to be any pushovers. We're going to have to come out and perform.
I mean, you guys are 10-0 so far. I mean, I don't think I was expecting the amount of demolition you guys have come into the SEL with. I mean, coming out here dominating, you beat the other top 4 teams in your Elite 8 group as well. What's gone into that season so far, even playing with a modified roster?
So we're all pretty close in terms of both. I would think just playing skill wise, and also
Hmm.
just as a team in general. We all hang out together. We have the chemistry on lock. So I think it's fine if we drop a little bit. And there has been times when even sometimes the modified roster will play better than the main roster on a
Huh.
given day.
Okay, I mean that makes sense. That's actually impressive having a deep program like that,
Mhm.
where the modified roster can play better than the main roster. It's got to be nice to have that kind of flexibility. But Sino, I appreciate you joining me. I gotta let you get out of here, being the first picker. We got a lot more teams to get through tonight. But good luck with your playoff run, my man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, UAH Blue, the first pick by Bruton Parker. That will make for a very exciting matchup. And that one's probably going to get rescheduled to a little later in the week. So it's not going to happen tomorrow like hopefully some of the playoff matches do. But on the lower side, UAH Blue, they lost in game 5 to South Carolina, which is a completely quality loss on the upper side of the bracket, which is the only reason that they were available for Bruton Parker to choose them. So UAH Blue going to have a tough playoffs ahead of them, but they do currently sit in one of those land spots. They're in 6th place following their top 6 finish in the fall. So that's a team that's more than capable of making it to land. And I know B More and Josh as well trying to get there, it being their senior semesters. So it'll be an exciting playoffs once that does get underway. But there you go. The draw graphics again. Bruton Parker up first. UAH Blue their selection. And that means next up, and this is going to be a very popular segment for all of you watching right now, but King University next up in the draft, as Big Wade will be joining us in just a second. And I think he's about ready. He joined my panel last week on a State of the SEL, and I get to see his wonderful face again on a broadcast for the SEL. So, Wade, can you hear me? How are you feeling right now about your spot in the draft?
Doing good, feeling good. Super happy with the way we performed against Florida State, and I'm ready to go into the playoffs.
Awesome. Well, you get the second draft pick thanks to that win over Florida State. That was huge from you guys finding that win and kind of cementing yourselves. I think is the second place right now behind Bruton Parker, who have had an unbelievable season so far. But with that second pick, who are you going to be choosing?
Well, we're in a kind of interesting spot here because, I mean, obviously, I think Montevallo would be the weaker of the two teams that I'm looking at right now. But
Hmm.
looking at the points, Eastern Carolina is now into a place to where they can make land. and I want to help out my boys at UAH Blue, and so I think we're gonna pick Eastern Carolina.
Whoa, okay, ECU, the next choice in the draft. And I was thinking that teams were going to be strategizing and deciding who they were going to pick based on land points. But so far, the first two picks have been exactly that. So, I mean, did you get to watch them at all last night in their series against Florida, Wade?
I didn't get to watch a lot of it, but I've been looking back at their season, and I mean, they went 2-5 in their group, and their
Mm-hmm.
only two wins came to LSU, who I think bottomed out, and I think the other one, I don't even know who the other one
Full
was, but
Sail. It was Full
Full
Sail.
Sail, yeah, and they also bottomed out, and so I think that we can handle them and give our boy give my boy B more a jump and help them out, try to get them on land.
I mean, you're the coach for the UAH teams as well. I know you were trying to help out UAH White last night on stream. So, I mean, helping your boy out, I respect it. How are you guys preparing for playoffs right now to make sure another Auburn series doesn't happen when it means the most in Double Elim?
I mean, we have the colleague tournament on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be good for practice. I mean, typically whenever we're feeling good, the vibes are up, we don't really have an issue with kind of those teams like Auburn. That was just one off. It's stressful. It's right around midterms, and we were all kind of stressed out, so
Fair.
I think we'll be good. Super excited to be in the position we're in the playoff bracket, and super excited to meet Tennessee in the finals.
All right. The prediction's been thrown down as well. I didn't have to ask for that, Wade. Thanks for joining me in the booth, man, and good luck with playoffs.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go back to the draw screen real fast to show you again. King University picking East Carolina, which I wasn't expecting. I mean, so far, UAH Blue and ECU off the board, two teams that have looked very good through the last chance qualifier, with ECU just last night beating Florida on Monday Night Lights and then beating Louisiana Tech in their series prior. And then UAH Blue, like I said, that quality loss to South Carolina and then handling NKU on the lower side of the bracket. But they're the first two choices. And next up is going to be Florida State. So we'll get Fries back on stream here in a second once he's ready to go. But we only have two teams left to choose from in the draw show on the top or on the lower side of the LCQ bracket. I suppose the top side of the draft with Montevallo and UNCC. So Georgia State, they have a rep here to answer some questions as well about who their opponent is going to be. They don't technically get to choose who they are selecting, but Florida State does have the choice between UNCC and Montevallo. So we'll see what happens once we are ready to go. But shout out Fred right now doing the back end production stuff for the draw show. He's doing a phenomenal job getting everybody in, changing the graphics, and making sure everything looks seamless. And so Fred's the GOAT. But I think we got Fries with us, all set up in the booth. So we're gonna toss him on stream for the second time tonight. Fries, my man, how you doing? I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. I don't have many players ask me how I'm doing when they join me in the booth. But out of the way first, really quickly, you got the choice between UNCC and Montevallo. Who's Florida State playing in round one?
Hello, can you hear me now?
There we go. All right. Fry said he's doing well. He asked how I was doing. I think we can hear him now. Spam in chat if you can hear Fries. All right. They can hear you, Fries. Now go ahead with your choice.
All right, I think Wade did my job for me, so we're gonna pick Montevallo. Pretty obvious.
All right. Between Montevallo and UNCC, Florida State is taking UM. So are you guys feeling confident about your prospects of repeating? Obviously, you've suffered a couple losses already, one to South Carolina, one to Bruton Parker, and then King most recently. Are you guys still confident in your ability to make a run to this bracket?
Yeah, I actually think that Wade's wrong. I think we'll be meeting UTK in the finals.
Oh, so would you be beating King, getting the revenge match en route to the finals?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would love that, honestly. For content's sake, that would be so hype. So are you feeling confident about like the beginning of playoffs? Because that's kind of where the most chaos tends to happen, I feel, is those early rounds. Are you guys doing anything special to prepare for maybe the lower ranked teams relative to who you have actually been losing to throughout the season?
I'm not too worried about our 2 losses. I think USC played a strange game we weren't ready for, so I think we'll be fine for playoffs. We're a playoff team anyways, so I think we'll be ready.
All right, Florida State's the playoff team. Well, I'm looking forward to it. You guys have secured, I believe, a spot on land. I'm not going to completely confirm that, but coming into this split, you secured a tiebreaker. So I imagine getting the 8 points you make for playoffs, you've gotten pretty close to securing it. So I want to get your thoughts on the SEL land. Like you guys were there last year as well, so you got to experience it. How much are you looking forward to it this semester if you are able to secure your spot there?
Oh, I'm very excited. I love all the SEL guys, so I'm just excited to meet people and all the newcomers. Like, what's that? I can't think of his full name, but
BPC might be there.
yeah,
King
BBC,
would be a
yeah.
newcomer as well.
King, yeah.
So
But,
a lot of fresh faces. I love it. Meeting the people is the best part of going to land. Like I got to meet you, interview you, and the FSU guys last year. That was a lot of fun fries. So I'm looking forward to it. And good luck with your playoffs run, getting there and securing it.
Yep, thank you.
All right, we got to move on though. Keep the draw show going. As next up, we do have a representative from Georgia State coming up in a second. But as a reminder, FSU chose Montevallo between Niners or UNCC on the bottom side of the bracket, which is fair. UNCC, they beat UTK in groups, the only team to play in the last chance qualifier that actually went 6-1 in groups. But that does mean that they will be playing Georgia State or Buds at GSU in round 1 of playoffs, which is an interesting matchup because it'll be a rematch that went 3-1 in favor of Buds the last time it happened in the group stage. So we got Dylan joining us here in a second from Georgia State. So I'll be very interested to see his thoughts on it. But no, Monk, you don't get to choose. It is given to you. Being that you can only choose from the lower side of the last chance qualifier. But still, it's going to be a good match. Like Buds and UNCC, even though UNCC barely squeaked out of the last chance qualifier, losing to Alabama, having to reverse sweep UAH White, this is absolutely a team that could make some upsets happen. But playing a team that's already handled them once in Buds at GSU. Dylan has joined me in the booth. Dylan, I mean, you guys are stuck with UNCC, so how you feeling about that?
I mean, honestly, how do I feel? I feel fine. We beat them before. Right. We're a confident team. We're here to beat the group stage allegations. We're beating the round robin allegations. We're here to play. We're getting to that land. We're feeling good. We're feeling good.
I mean, you guys right now are one of the teams on the outside looking in with 14 points overall right now, being that you made playoffs in fall. Are you doing anything special for playoffs? I know the roster's been a little shaky, which I'll ask you about in a second, playing with different iterations of it. So are you guys doing anything differently to prepare for playoffs and having to make a run here?
So it's kind of interesting. As you said, rosters have been a little bit shaky. We've had different people starting and stuff. We've had different variations of the team playing, and we're kind of figuring out which has been the best one going forward. But we're getting it figured out. We're not fully certified on one specific roster, but we are definitely leaning towards options and figuring out what's going to work best. But we're feeling confident though. We're all kind of on the same wavelength with that.
Nice. So if I ask you right now, if you are able to reveal the roster played in playoffs, you wouldn't have anything for me?
I'm gonna assume that it was going to be me starting with Monk and JD. Not confirmation on that, but that's what we're going to, I think that's what we're going to roll with.
And that was the roster you guys played at Boost on the Beach with, correct?
It was some first LAN for me, at least. It was an experience. It was really fun though. I loved it.
I mean, you guys swept Maryville in a best of 3, but like that a 2-0 over Maryville, like that's a pretty good result.
Yeah, we swept Maryville.
At least you got that on the resume. So who's to say you can't make a run to land here?
I mean, it's just a placebo. We'll be fine.
I'm ready for it. I mean, UNCC, you guys have beaten them already 3-1. Are you pretty confident in your ability to beat them again in playoffs?
Yeah, they know what's coming. We talked to them before. They know what to expect. They know the level that we bring, and they know that they're going to lose to it.
All right, confident. I love the confidence. Like everyone that comes on here, like they're confident, but there isn't as much chirping as I would love. So Dylan's calling it out. UNCC's going down. I mean, did you get a chance to watch them play last night against UAHY? Because that was a close shave for having a reverse sweep there.
Nah, I had bigger fish to fry last night.
Okay. Playing in your Valorant tournament, or you prepping for the Frost tournament you guys played in today?
Yeah, that was definitely an experience.
On the cusp of playoffs, Dylan's entering Frost Valorant tournaments, but you guys are a confident bunch. I'm excited to get to watch you in playoffs here. Dylan, thanks for joining me and good luck.
Thanks, man. Great talking to you.
And that concludes our top side of the draft. So those 4 teams on the bottom side of that LCQ bracket, they've been chosen. And a recap of what we've seen so far. Bruton Parker chose UAH Bloom. King chose ECU. Florida State chose Montevallo. And Georgia State kind of got stuck with UNCC. But they're confident about it. They've already got a win over them so far. And that is the only rematch that we have so far guaranteed in round 1 of the playoffs of a group stage match. Obviously, we didn't have any rematches thanks to the format of the last chance qualifier and the Elite 8 groups, ensuring we wouldn't have any same group teams playing one another there. So we've avoided rematches until now, but we're going to get some again. And coming up in a bit, you can see on the bottom side there of the playoff draw show, the team that went 3-0, 9-1 in games against the rest of the 2 seeds coming out of groups in UTK. They'll be choosing first here. And the teams that they get to choose from will be Arkansas, South Carolina, Alabama, and then South Carolina Garnet. So 2 USC teams to choose from here. The A team and the B team, both available, given that they both came from the top side of the last chance qualifier. So we'll see in a second who UTK chooses. They've given a couple hints so far as to who they might be selecting. But the man I've got with me next is going to give it to you straight from the source. I got Joe Bro from UTK with me. Joe, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Ready to go.
Oh, he's muted in Discord. I can't hear him right now.
Oh, oops.
There we go.
I said I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go.
All right. I love it. I mean, I know you're always ready to go. I know you're always confident, but with your first pick on the bottom side of the draw show, who you picking?
We're taking Arkansas. I
All
think,
right. Go ahead.
We just didn't want to. I mean, the other 2 options outside of USC Garnet were just like, you don't want to pick them because you never know what can happen. And I just really don't want to play a team that plays like Garnet. I just don't feel like it. So I'm taking Arkansas all day here.
All right, Arkansas is your safe pick here. The benefit of going undefeated in the Elite 8 Group 2. Like what went into that performance, kind of dominating that second Elite 8 group?
More just being annoyed that we lost, I think, than anything, because we finally realized we're actually gonna have to scrim and practice a little bit. So after we lost, we were like, hey, let's put in a little work, and I'd say it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. You guys are definitely favorites, I think, to make it to the grand finals right now. Already you've been called out by both Wade and Fries about being their matchups in the grand finals, their predictions. So are you guys feeling confident about your prospect? You might get Bruton Parker in round 3 of uppers. So are you guys feeling confident about that?
Yeah, I think we're actually just talking about how we're not going to look ahead, because I think for us, that's where we get in our own heads. We're like, oh, I'm thinking about this match 3 down the road, and we forget who's in front of us. So I think for us, we're just focusing on Arkansas for now. Next week or whenever it is, we'll focus on Georgia State or who is it? The team we lost to, UNCC.
Yeah.
Actually, I really hope UNCC wins that just so we can play them again, because I would love to avenge the open net misses. That'd be fantastic. And then, after that, then we'll think about Bruden Parker if that's who it is. But just take it a week at a time, and it's really all we need to do.
All right. I respect the change in mentality. Like that's good to hear from a team that was already very solid. And one last question I do have for you is specifically about South Carolina Garnet. What about them makes you want to go with Arkansas when given that option?
I mean, they just play the game in like a cringe way. So I'd really just don't want to play against it. So they can have fun being cringe against somebody else, whoever else picks them. They can have fun with that. So
all right. Well, we'll see who gets stuck with the cringe play style. Joe Bro, thanks for joining me tonight. I love the chat as always, and good luck with your playoff run.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Shout out, Sarah.
All right. Thank you so much. UTK with their first selection out of Elite 8 Group 2 pick Arkansas. And you heard it from him. South Carolina Garnet has a cringe play style. And so I'll be curious to see which team does end up playing them. As you can see, Cumberland, Kentucky, and Florida Atlantic, the last three options for our last three teams in South Carolina, Alabama, and Garnet. So we'll have them coming up next. I think we got Skyline from Cumberland once he's ready to go on the broadcast. So I'll be interested to see who he does choose. But Arkansas is a team that I think can surprise some people in this playoff bracket because I watched them play on my Monday Night Lights show match. And it was against the Bama team playing with Solution instead of Trizen, but they were able to clutch it out in game 7 with some absurd offense. And they're just one of those teams that, like, if they can lock it down defensively, they have the firepower to keep up with some of these teams. So they're the first choice by UTK in their group of the final 4 teams come out of the top side of the LCQ bracket. But they're still a dangerous team, as are the 3 left in the draw show. So how's everybody feeling right now about the teams that have been picked so far? I know we got a lot of names out of the SCL watching tonight. I always love these community events, like the draw show, the group draw show. Like everyone shows up for these mainstream. So I appreciate you coming here. But I got Skyline with me. Skyline from Cumberland. Dude, how you doing? How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good, Bepic. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for joining me. I got to get out of the way first, though. The big reason you're here, choosing from one of the final 3 teams available, South Carolina, Alabama, or South Carolina Garnet. Skyline, who you picking as your round 1 matchup?
I mean, we were kind of shocked that Tennessee took Arkansas. So I feel like we're just going to stick what we were going to originally choose anyway, which we've already played them and swept them before. So we're going to take Bama here.
Okay, Alabama, the choice of Cumberland. This is a dangerous team, Scott. Like, very inconsistent. I know you've swept them before, so is this kind of like a comfort pick? You know, you can beat them, and it was a sweep where every single game was won by 2 goals. So is this just purely about comfort having played them before?
Yeah, so it kind of is about comfort a little bit because, like I said, we played them before, we beat them, we know how to play against them. But even so, kind of going off what Joe Bro said, we kind of thought about picking the South Carolina B team. But if they're playing that cringe style, I think it's better that we leave that for Kentucky and FAU to decide if they want to play A or B team. So we'll take Bama and just take the comfort.
All right. I mean, your season so far has been solid. Your only loss in group stage was to Florida State. You 3-0'd South Carolina's A team, so you didn't have too much of an issue with them. But then in the Elite 8 group, losing to UTK, like, you guys have some quality losses as your L's so far, but that means your wins have been plentiful. How's the season gone so far for you guys?
I mean, I felt like it's gone pretty good for us. Obviously, some hiccups and bumps here and there, but other than that, I feel like we've done pretty strong and we got a lot more to prove for ourselves. So, might want to see what happens in playoffs, and we'll see Tennessee in the grand finals. So
that's the popular pick. Everyone's going to play Tennessee in the grand finals, apparently, which we'll see what happens. But a couple more questions for you. One's about Super Smurf, because like he's kind of been one of the big stories for Cumberland. The infusion of him into the starting lineup, like he's made some incredible plays. I think back to like the Superman call that TJ had on the mainstream, like that was electric. Do you feel like you're a better team this semester with him in the lineup now than you were in the fall?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I've known it's Supa actually, where played at Atlantica. That's how we first met. He kind of introduced me and got me into Cumberland. So me and him have a lot of history. And then Magic also getting added onto that. And then it's us three. I feel like we play very strong together when we're on our A game. So I feel like people just kind of don't see us as, as high as our ceiling can go because they don't really know Supa that much because he didn't play with us last semester. But with him, we definitely step up another level.
Have you doing anything specific to prepare for the playoff run to reach that ceiling? I mean, you guys are in a comfortable spot for LAN right now, but you still got to secure it. So are you guys preparing any harder for playoffs, or is it just same old, same old?
I feel like we still do practice here and there, do some scrims, but I feel like this Madness tournament coming up tomorrow and Thursday will be a real test to so we can show off what we actually are and maybe get our seating up a little bit, because obviously we feel like we're seated lower than we should be. So we're just going to be out here trying to prove ourselves.
All right. That's all you can do is prove yourselves. Skyline, I'm looking forward to watching the playoff run out of you guys. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, yes. I appreciate you having me, Bepic.
All right, and that is down to just 2 teams, South Carolina A and South Carolina B, which I was maybe expecting to be here, knowing how a lot of teams felt about Garnet's play style, but it's still kind of funny to me that it's both teams from the same school as the final 2 options. And the guy we got coming up next, Mr. Unfriable Apples, gets to decide if he wants the A team or the B team. And I feel like there's an obvious choice here. But Unfriable Apples from Kentucky gets to decide it. Both teams being upper side last chance qualifier winners. South Carolina A doing it in game 5 over UAH Blue, and the Garnet doing it in game 4 over UGA. So both teams are capable, I think, of making a playoff run here. And Garnet definitely on the lower side of chances to make one of those LAN spots, as they didn't make playoffs in the fall, so they got to make a serious run in the playoffs. Whereas the A team, they're just sitting in a tiebreaker at the moment, a 4-way tie for the 7th and 8th LAN spot with ECU, Kentucky, and Oklahoma, which is pretty funny, but still, you got to make a big playoff run, and Kentucky's another one of those teams that's got to make a playoff run. So, Unfriable Apples, I've got in the booth joining me now. Apples, I mean, playoffs are looming, but how you feeling?
I am feeling really good, Bepic.
Glad to hear it.
Looking forward.
You've got the choice of either South Carolina's A team or South Carolina's B team. Like, were you expecting these to be the final 2 choices in the draft when you saw the teams up for grabs?
I thought that it was a possibility. Their B team, I mean, they have to be one of the stronger B teams at about any school. They're very good. We barely edged out a win against Garnet. So yeah, I'm not super surprised that this is how it turned out.
All right. Well, you get the choice, so I'll let you have the floor for the final official pick of the draft. Are you taking the A team? Or are you taking the B team?
I am gonna take the B team. We're gonna take Garnet. Everyone's right. They do have a really annoying play style to play against. They're really good. It's not a free win at all. But yeah, we are going to take the B team.
Well, I mean, you guys got the dub against them previously in the season. Was that a game 5 win that you guys had against them?
It was a game 5 win where we went down 1-2 in the series and had to win 2 overtimes in a row. So it's absolutely going to be another close series probably, but hopefully we can etch out a win again.
All right. Well, hopefully you're confident about that round 1 matchup, but I also want to ask you about making LAN. Like, you've been one of the bigger stories throughout the season, this being your senior season, being an SEL champion at our LAN last year. Like, you guys still have to perform well in playoffs. How are you feeling about the possibility of making it back to the SEL LAN?
I think we've showed we have a little bit of ice before. Hopefully we can show that again. I think that we're going to. I have full confidence in my guys, and the Kentucky and UTK rematch in the grand final is going to feed families, Bepic. It's going to feed families.
I mean, the last time that you guys matched up in the grand finals, it nearly killed me and Foof, having casted like a 10-hour day. And then you have to bracket reset UTK. I think we got what, like 13 of the 14 possible games in that grand finals. So I'm ready for it. I'm glad you feel like you're playing UTK again. I mean, you guys are good friends. That was a great matchup last year. Are you ready for the Chipmunk Man peak that's going to come in playoffs?
I am so ready for it. He's a freshman. It's his first semester on the roster. Real first chance to really go out there and show the ice that I know that he has. Huds is going to go out there, but make some crazy plays. I'm just gonna facilitate like I always do, and it's gonna be great, Patrick. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Apples. I appreciate you joining me. I respect the pick, taking the bullet of Garnett's awkward play style for the rest of the SEL. Very kind of you, but good luck with playoffs, man.
Thank you very much, Pepe.
All right. And that means we have one final matchup decided following that pick. Florida Atlantic is going to be playing South Carolina in round 1, which is going to be a banger of a series. And I think Garnet versus Kentucky is going to be a fantastic one as well. And honestly, Cumberland, Alabama, we got a lot of good matchups coming in round 1 of playoffs. But Mitra is going to be joining me here in a second with his thoughts on the South Carolina matchup. So in just a moment, we'll get FAU's thoughts, as they've had a fairly good season so far, coming in second in their group, meaning they were stuck in the Group 2, Elite 8 Group 2. But Mitra, I think, is ready to go. I've got it in my ear. No cam for Mitra. We just got his lovely voice. So Mitra, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I want to get your thoughts about the kind of getting stuck with South Carolina as your round 1 matchup. How are you guys feeling about that?
I think we're feeling confident. I don't think we'll be too nervous playing majority of the teams that we'll face up against.
Fair enough. I mean, you guys have had a good season so far, like making a decent run, like the CCS playoffs. You're playing in Colleague Madness tomorrow, right? How you feeling about that?
I think we'll be fine too. I haven't looked too much at it, so I'm not completely sure, but I assume we'll do fine.
All right. I mean, you guys have a unique play style playing around Hammy Crackers, but like you and Stan are absolutely dangerous. Is the strategy going into playoffs to play around Hammy, or you and Stan looking to kind of peek around him for your run?
It really depends if I decide to hit the crossbar every time or not. But if I don't, then I think we'll be doing just fine.
And I mean, I want to get your thoughts as well on the Elite 8 group that you guys were in. You only got to play UTK, and that was a 3-1. And then the rest were forfeits. Were you guys just unavailable to play? Like, was it spring break or something? That's what happened with the FFs. That's kind of the reason you guys were stuck with South Carolina.
Yeah, I think Hammy wasn't available on some of these days, and since we knew that this was mainly just for picks, we were confident against any team coming out of LCQ, so we didn't care too much about it.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, if you're confident about anybody, it doesn't really matter where you are in the draft order, and that's fair. I mean, your only losses coming to Bruton Parker and UTK so far this season. What are you guys going to have to do to kind of get over the bump in the road of like UTK, BPC, and those teams at the top of the table right now to get FAU up there?
I think I'm gonna hit some training packs so I don't hit crossbar every single time, and get over like 10 hours past 2 weeks. I think then I'll start peaking.
All right, that's that's a reasonable training routine. Avoid the crossbar and actually play the game. Mitra, I'm looking forward to the run from FAU again. So good luck with playoffs.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, there we go. That is the final order of the draft. A recap, BPC coming out earlier, picking UAH Blue, strategizing just a little bit, trying to take out a team they are fighting for a land spot, fighting with for a land spot. And then King choosing ECU, helping out Be More and the boys, sending another team that UAH is fighting with for a land spot down to the lower bracket if they get the W. Then FSU pick Montevallo. Georgia State gets stuck with UNCC. UTK come out here and pick Arkansas. Cumberland pick Alabama, a comfort pick for them, having already 3-0'd them. So our second potential rematch in playoffs. And then Kentucky giving us our third rematch against South Carolina Garnet. And then FAU stuck with South Carolina, but confident in their ability to get the win there. So that's going to do it for tonight's draft show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I always love getting able to conduct the streams on here. Like, my work schedule makes it so I'm not always available, so I haven't been on the main stream a lot this semester, but getting to show face for the SCL community is always fun. You guys always blow up the chat. So much love all around. I'm looking forward to playoffs. We're going to have to do some kind of prediction competition. So I think Albedo might have a prediction spreadsheet that'll be distributed somewhere. I'll probably at Rocket League if you want to submit a prediction bracket. So if you want to prove that you're better than me at predicting, then that'll be your shot to do it. But until then, I do have to say good night for now. Tomorrow's SEL stream, we're still working it out around the Colleague Madness tournament. We're trying to push stream back an hour. So if you're able to tune in for that, it'll probably be an hour behind the normal schedule. So starting at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, if we are able to put on a stream tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. As always, follow the Esports SEL socials, the Twitch channel, YouTube channel, Twitter, all of that. But until then, I got to say good night. Thanks for watching tonight, and I'll see you later.